morning, Indonesia. Wow, I think everybody's still sleepy, right, with the jet lag. So good morning, Indonesia. Good morning, Asia. We are here as an Asian. We are here in Bali and Indonesia. So I have a presentation ready. You see my name? I think I will move down here to make myself more easy to speak to you. Because of me, myself, on the top, I feel lonely. Because I'm a part of the community. And we are the community, right? We've been talking about anti-trafficking. Do we know exactly what is human trafficking? Let us ask ourselves, do we know what is human trafficking itself? And how we move forward to do anti-trafficking movement? Our work here will not be happening. We are not here if there is no victim. Agree? No, I think not everybody agree with me. Are you agree if we are here because of there is a victim? Thank you. So we are in the same room at the same place. This is about me. So let's see. I was assigned to talk about survivor inclusion, which is my passion. Why we have to include survivor from the beginning of our work when we entered the door until we close the door. Because of that, I already mentioned that we are here because there is a victim. We are here because of about us. It's about victim, about survivor. It's not only about us because of there is a victim. Victim is the focus. Survivor is the next focus. So survivor inclusion is very essential in the anti-trafficking framework and recommendable to ensure human right-based survivor-centered approach to combat human trafficking. It's very important that we put victim in the center and survivor in the center. Otherwise, we don't have focus. We lost focus. If we talk about me, my organization, we will do this, but we never include them. And it needs to be included in all aspects of anti-trafficking framework. Yes, agree that we have to include them since the beginning till the end. Don't take them as a completion. Don't take them just the name. Don't take them for the picture that you put. Oh, she said, he said. No. We need a consent, and we will talk about informed consent on the last day. And this is what I love about. So how to include survivor, not only equality that we treat them, but also equity and inclusion. This is a package that we cannot break apart. Equality, equity, and inclusion to move them away. So how we will include them in our work? Of course, we know about paradigm 3P, prevention, protection, prosecution. And through the program developed, practices, not only practices, but the best practices. The best, not only practice. And then in the policy, we include them. If we do this policy, the laws, will the law or policy benefit and protect victim or survivor? If not, let's change the law. Let's change the policy. Our focus is what the shape of the victim. And we have to think on top of our mind, our focus is because of there is a victim. And then next is, let's include them in the monitoring our organization, the government. Let's talk to them. Do we do a good job on this? Is our program good? Is this harm the victim? It's harm the community. So let's talk to them. And centering survivor leader at the table. Let them sit at the table with you. And thankfully, Agat and also Doug Bali and also all here, the organization that listed here include me to speak to you. It is the proof that we practice survivor inclusion. And thank you, organizer. And also, how we give them opportunity to grow by giving them opportunity to attend this conference, giving them opportunity to be a part of our organization, giving them opportunity to lead survivor leadership in our organization, give them opportunity to speak up, give them opportunity to lead the program, to be an advisor, to be a consultant. And don't forget, we have to treat them with dignity, with respect, by providing example. You give them certificate, you give them education, and also maybe per diem, and give them something that they can, they can take away and feel, I am having a value and I am worth it. Doesn't work. Okay, it means you have to see me working hard. Okay, let's do here. Okay. I'm so sorry, technical difficulties. Oh, I think we have to start from the beginning. Okay. After the survivor inclusion, yes, this is. So means we don't talk about victim anymore because we moved them. It means survivor is the key. I am at the center now. Because you see me, right? I'm at the center, and actually I am valuable stakeholder in the anti-trafficking framework because I can give you the information about modus operandi. I can give you the technique of the trafficker. I can give you information how the recruiter look like, how they gain a benefit, how the money goes, how the money laundering happen on the anti-trafficking. Because of inclusion, you get all the information you needed. And then next, I think I need help. It doesn't work well. If you can help me to move, excuse me. Maybe the battery doesn't work. Yeah, next please. Thank you, I appreciate. So before we talk about inclusion, we have to understand if there is a victim and survivor. So often in our language, in your language, there is no separation in between victim and survivor, right? Because of the limitation of language. In Indonesia, korban is korban. We don't talk about penyintas. Penyintas, it means activist. So korban, still korban, even though still in the mindset or already out as a survivor. Oh, dia bekas korban, example. So we have to talk about international law here because we talk about international. So by the United Nations and also some of the guideline is victim is used for the person under direct control of trafficker. So they are victim, right? They are not outside, under control of the trafficker. In the context of formal recognition of person status as a victim of trafficking, directly relevant to obtaining specific legal right and entitlement. So when we talk about victim, oh, she is a victim. We use the term victim. It means They are entitled to get services. They are entitled to get help in immigration. They are entitled to get help in protection and also justice. We have to hold trafficker accountable because of there is a victim. And then also after victim, move to survivor because of they are survived. They are survived because all of you here, they are not survived. Majority survivor, they call themselves survivor because of the work that you are doing. How important work that each of you do back in your country. How important the network, how important the community to help them. Don't talk about me, my organization, but establish a connection, establish partnership. Because sometimes when you serve victim, you don't have a certain aspect. So connect with your neighborhood organization. That's why we are here to establish connection. We are here to establish a partnership and collaboration. So this is about survivor and you will get it, I believe. So they are not under control anymore. They are free to move forward, but some of them are having a mindset of victimization. And this is our job to provide hope. How we provide hope? By include them in the process of giving services. So it say, I want bread, don't give them stone. I am hungry, don't give them stone. I am thirsty, don't give them a plastic cup, give them water. So this is what we have to understand, learn sensitivity, what they need. When you fulfill the need, they will be able to move forward. They will be able to trust you to develop the journey to the freedom. And then this is the opportunity that you give to survivor, not only finishing the service. Oh, they already get the service, 6 months, 1 year finish. No, develop leadership. Develop leadership that you give them opportunity, because survivor inclusion is about opportunity for them, giving them platform to speak, giving them platform to get involved. And, survivor leader, if we see, included in many different platforms. Example, they are a lawyer. Many of Indonesian penyintas, they are lawyer. Many Indonesian survivors, they are a business owner. Many Thai survivors also business owner. They have organization, they lead organization. So we see them actually having the path, but not everybody have that path. So I would like to call all of you here, give them opportunity, because of survivor inclusion is recommendable and a must. We need to change our anti-trafficking framework, not only about me, but because of them. Let's change the narrative. Let's change the narrative. Let's put them in the front line. This is our leader. Okay, let's move. So this is what I mentioned earlier. Survivor is the most priority in anti-trafficking work because of they know many things. They know many things. You don't know anything. I know anything. Maybe you know something, but I know more than you. Did you meet trafficker? No. I was the one that first-hand experience dealing with the trafficker. How do they speak? How do they exploit me? How do they traffic me? How do they hit me? How do they abuse me? I know, but you don't experience. Maybe some of you survivor here, and that's how the way I can say this. We are a valuable stakeholder. Don't give up, because why? We need people like you to stand up and say the right thing. Say the truth. Don't let people Don't let people take away the experience, because you have lived experience. Don't let people control you anymore. Stop. That's how the way survivor inclusion look like. Sit together with them. Put yourself in their shoes so you know how the way you act to them, how the way you treat them with respect, dignity, and provide hope and freedom. Okay, next. And they have a unique experience, right? This is how it is. That's why inclusion is important, because of my experience and someone else's experience over there different. I was trafficked through recruitment, and I have to fly, and then I have to obtain visa. So many different things. Most of the trafficking situation unique because of they have a different way how they recruit them, how they become a part of the trafficking network, all different. So they are unique. And also, we can move to a next slide. And they have different work experiences. Example, I was a banker, and then I was trafficked, become sex slave. And some of them they are student, trafficked, become cheap labor. So a lot of them are unique, and they have a work experience that different. And now I become an activist and advocate, and many different hats. So many survivors also have a different hat, and we have to find out. We have to find out comprehensive, holistic approach for them to sit together. What is the meaning comprehensive? It means not only talking about sex trafficking, but also don't left out labor trafficking. Let's sit together with all different, form of trafficking, because you will get the real picture of human trafficking. Thank you. Next. Okay, so we talk about the background already. Let's move forward. Important, we talk about important, and I hope this slide will be distributed. How we practice inclusion is by mentorship and empowerment. If we always put them down, this is your problem. This is because of you pay, because of you have to go to this agent, because you want to get that job. This is a blaming. We have to avoid that. Encouragement. Yes, you can do it. You are worthy. You can make changes. And survivor is a change maker. You are change maker, but actually they are the change maker. They are the first change maker because they speak up. They tell you what happened. And that's why you can develop all services, all policy, because of victim and survivor. And then inclusion in many different ways. One of them is in case management and time management. When you deal with the victim, include them in your work. Okay, case management, how long? Tell them 1 year. And then what it says in case management, you have to go through therapy, you have to go this, inform them. And they don't want, you have to take time, don't force them, because you will give them a bad impact and experience, and they will lose trust to you. Talk to them. What do you need? Back, if you need food, I give you food. And if they need, no, I want to go back to my family, and we know the family is the perpetrator, so you have to do intervention for their safety. It is important that we have to be aware that sometimes we have to do intervention for the sake of the safety, for the sake of human rights. And this is what we have to work on, is a lot of guideline. And I believe we all hear the best. Okay, let's move. And also establishment survivor national council. So I would like to invite you, if you came from Thailand. So I work with Boom Bin. I'm not sure if you know Boom Bin. She was a trafficking hero by Department of State. So we try to establish a survivor council. And thankfully, Indonesian established last year, December 10, but this is not under the government. It is a similar with by like a network, but we named this as the Indonesian Survivor Advisory Council. And I would like to invite all of you from different countries to establish this with the differences of experience and also survivor experience. And then also the best practices and national referral mechanism is important because the best practice that you establish might not best practice for me, right? So you have to include them. Let's come together, work together with survivors to establish the best. Because if you want to practice prevention, protection, and also prosecution, sometimes I tell you, oh, he is my trafficker, but you say, oh, he is a good guy. I don't think he is trafficker. No, listen to them. Trust and believe survivor. Yes, next. Yes, this is my last quote for this, this presentation. Nothing about us without us. Nothing about me without me. I hope you agree with this. Survivor inclusion is the path of the hope for others. It's the path of the freedom for others. And let us make survivor the less. Thank you. Thank you for listening. And I hope you will bring something to back home and do better.
Thank you, Ibu Shandra.
Terima kasih.
I'm really excited to open up for questions. We left time because I know lots of people have a lot of questions for Ibu Shandra. So we'll have some mics floating around the room if you want to raise your hand. If you have a question for Ibu Shandra about her presentation or about the topic of survivor inclusion, go ahead.
If we don't have enough time, I will be around until the end of the conference.
Thank you very much for your presentation. I do have a question. This has been something that our board has been discussing and struggling and working with. And what I'd like to get your thoughts on how does a board go about finding the right survivor to, say, be part of the board of directors or included in, you don't want to just run out and say, hey, you're a survivor, join our board. So do you have tips or suggestions on the best way for a board to develop policies around that?
Oh, thank you. It is an interesting question. Yes, I've been helping hundreds of organizations across the world. How we establish and put survivor in the organization as a board member. Board member could be two, advisory board or the board member, right? Advisory board or the board member. Advisory board member could be developed from your own organization. If you do direct services, you will identify people that having experience, live this experience. Oh, you will find out they are very bold. They show leadership. They have idea. So you have to identify, and they have a critical thinking. It means they already overcome. Don't take someone that just got out from the situation. I suggest no, because they need to be healed. The healing process of each of the survivors are different. Sometimes it takes 10 years, sometimes 1 month, sometimes 3 months. As long as they went through the mental health assessment and also leadership training that you provide, example, organization provide mentorship and leadership, and I can talk more about that and I can help you to develop. And also you will see, oh, she is ready to move forward to the better position. If you don't want to take from someone within your organization, you can look at people in your community that speak up. Example, oh Shandra, oh, she speak, let me talk to her. So try to talk to her. And you have to understand, become advisory board and board members, survivor will not get paid. You have to explain at the beginning. You have to explain. Because of otherwise, they expect that you will exploit them again and again, right? We have to avoid that. Tell them to be a board member is advising or including in the plan. And this is 1 or 2 years like commitment. Probably the best is I became board member of many different organizations. What I ask, I don't count my time, but count my expenses. So you have to count the expenses from the lodging, transportation, from the training, and then food, and all those things. Provide them. Because of sometimes they don't have job. And if you want to have a specific help for them, their board member put them in the operational so they can make money to survive. Even though they are a survivor of human trafficking, it doesn't mean they survive from the hardest of economy, especially after pandemic. They're difficult. Many of them go back to the cycle. Many of them become a trafficking victim again, exploited again. So if you have a budget, include them in the operational, become example, assistant programming of fundraising example, or media. It's nice though to have them in, not only that, your organization practice inclusion, giving them opportunity, like I mentioned, actually survivor inclusion is giving them opportunity to grow with you and actually benefit you, benefit your organization. Yes, so the tips is to identify them and don't give up to try. And if they say, no, I don't know anything, I would like you to, but I think no, you can empower them. You can empower them. We will give you guideline. We will go through the process together. If you have any question, we will answer or we can help you. Yes. Anything else? Yes, please.
Thank you, Shandra.
My pleasure.
Matthew, part of the reason I think for avoiding the use of the word victim is that it becomes an identifier that, oh, you're a victim, that's your whole identity. And we then ignore the fact that they're a person with family and fears and hopes. And I wonder how we avoid that same thing happening with the word survivor, because a survivor also isn't their whole identity.
Yes.
If I can just add one thing, I heard a talk by Sophie Offiende recently, who's the head of the Global Fund to End Modern Slavery. She said one of the groups that she's part of, and I'm pretty sure it was the National Survivor Network, is creating a database of survivors specifically to provide information to people like you who are looking for someone with certain skills that could fit on a board. But my question there is, how do we avoid the word survivor just becoming something that traps people into, as though that's their whole identity, because they're more than that?
We have that conversation by the end of the conference, actually. If you see the agenda, yes, a good question. Victim actually use the word victim. It is for accessing the services, and it is a legal term. Survivor is not a legal term. So if we go back to the definition itself, so if the organizer will not share this presentation, I can send you. The term victim is to access services, and it is a must because of by the law. But if you use a survivor, you cannot access the services actually because you survive. You survive. Why you want services? But we use a different way. We give back all people dignity by call them a survivor. Actually, no. Because even though survivor, I will talk by the end of the conference, survivor divided become two. So I have a training for victim and survivor typology, the mindset. So survivor have a mindset too. In between, still living in a victimization, confusing, or I'm out. That's how to it, this process affected how someone become a leader. So I suggest, because of the language of each of the country different, so we just have to use the word with dignity and also explaining. Explaining, we have to sometimes we have to use victim for you in all the process because we want to access the services. If you go to immigration, you say survivor. No, they don't use it. They use victim. She's a victim of human trafficking. She wants to access to get asylum. She's a victim of human trafficking. She needs a visa. She needs a stay permit. So victim. If we say like our organization, we call it for social benefit. What we call it, survivor said, we use the word survivor because of we just for social benefit. We got extra help. What is that? We get extra help, and also, I'm not a victim anymore. But honestly, I mentioned they have a decrease. People call them survivor. Sometimes victimization you will not see here, but they still act. So it will not be board member. You will not put them in the activities. People that are still confused, give them time, give them time. That's why you mentioned survivor national survivor network. Yes, but that's supposed to develop by a survivor or organization that facilitated. But I was thinking about the advisory council that more bigger than network, because of it will give more better advice. So we can talk that more depending on the need, and also how we move survivor. I don't like people call me survivor, honestly, right? Because of I'm more, we call it thrive. We call it I am more than survivor. And we have to acknowledge this. We have to give acknowledgement and embrace them as a human dignity. Because by calling them, one day I just want to share, one day I'm speaking as a keynote, former victim of sex trafficking. Former victim of sex trafficking. So I said, if you don't put this down, I will not speak. So finally they were busy in finding a way to change it. We have to give them back the dignity because they don't know, they lost track. They lost track. They don't even know what is my right. Especially if you deal with, example, Mary Jane. Mary Jane from Philippines come to Indonesia. She doesn't know what is her right. She doesn't know what to do. She doesn't know how to defend herself because of the language, because of the culture, tradition, and the law itself. So thank you for bringing up of that. And I think this is our option to use a survivor for them, or just, I like to give them just name. Just call them their name, right? That's Shandra. Win. No, okay, we have a survivor that will speak with you. I think like, we have Shandra that will tell you about her experience. And one more thing before I go to you. Survivors have two, right? Sometimes they don't want to be called as a survivor, but sometimes they want to call as a lived experience. This is the challenge. Why I don't use lived experience as my title. No, because of we have to be able to tell. Lived experience, maybe I still selling sex. I'm sex trafficking survivor. Maybe I still sell sex, live experience. I still continue with my thing. If survive, they already done, cut off, and move forward. That's how do it call survival. If you want to use survivor with lived experience or survivor with life experience, they survive. Life experience, I still doing it, right? So this is something language is very sensitive, but it's okay to work on, to juggle, to brainstorm, and find the best for that person, not for you, for this person. Thank you.
I think we have a question from our online audience. Prima?
Yeah. So there's one question actually from Sharon. It's talking about trust. Yeah, survivors tend to lie about their life, which is confirmed by their family and their community. And then now the question is how to think and build trust to them.
The organization means or community, trust is different, okay? Individual.
Maybe I can say it in bahasa Indonesia.
Iya, bahasa.
So, terkait kepercayaan yang dibicarakan terhadap para penyintas, tadi yang disampaikan, bagaimana jika penyintas memiliki kecenderungan untuk berdusta? Hal ini sudah dikonfirmasi dari banyak keluarga dan lingkungan. Kira-kira apa saja cara atau insight untuk berpikir membangun kepercayaan tersebut kepada penyintasnya? Thank you.
This is a challenge. Thank you for bringing. It means that why survivor lies? To get the real picture of victimization, it takes more than 3 months. Why? The trauma, shame, taboo, judgment. When I was sold one day 20 times, what did I say? No, only one time. Only one time. They are not lying because of they want to lie. They lie because of many different circumstances that sometimes we don't know what is behind it. What is the truth story we didn't know? Yet, we found a few of cases that not true, yes. But because of what? Because of the manipulation. So we have to go beyond the surface. I have a case related to that in New York with the Homeland Security. The survivor lied the whole entire thing because of the mafia asked her to do so. So what happened? Actually, the case was nothing. So we have to take our time to identify and also to give someone's time to make sure that you will get the right picture. How is it? Thank you. I thought in the audience, I forgot online. Yes. We have 10 minutes left, but I promise you I'm here so we can talk more.
My name's Krista. Thank you so much for what you were sharing before the last question about just, survivors are people too. And thank you for being here as Shandra. As we're talking about what kind of language to use, I remember 20 years ago, we were using the word victim and then survivor became a, better term and like you said, lived experience. But I feel like all of those things in terms of people being vulnerable, focusing on the vulnerability, it's distancing, right? It's something that happened to those people over there and not to us. It's othering. And yet we're all survivors of something, right? We've all been victimized by something. We all have vulnerabilities. And if we only think of them as those things, then we think of them as less than us, even if we didn't mean to. And so even when you said that you were a banker, I thought, oh, well, then she couldn't have been a trafficking victim or vice versa, right? And so what do you think about, instead of focusing on the terms, the titles, what do you think about if we focus on vulnerability? Again, we all have vulnerabilities. And how might that help us not make it become one's identity, but something that happened to the person because of all these, external factors. What do you think about that? yeah, the idea that we're a banker or a lawyer or a, whatever we were before we became victims. And also recognizing that we were survivors before we ever met any of the organizations represented in this room.
This is a good question. Yes. So I think focusing on vulnerability is a part of our vision and mission, right? I hope so. I hope everybody, usually anti-trafficking is focusing on, because of there is vulnerability, trafficking happen. Because of the profit, trafficking happen. So we have to go back why human trafficking happen. Yes, focusing on vulnerability, absolutely yes. But because of we talk about inclusion, I would like to bring up why we have to fight about victim survivor because of the language. But focusing on vulnerability is a part of the value of our services. Vulnerability is the value of our services when you have a direct services and serve people that vulnerable. And the fact we also survivor, the fact, right? But maybe not trafficking, maybe not exploitation, maybe because of the disaster, maybe because a family member died and you grieve, you try to survive with that. Maybe you lost someone, you lost your dog, you love your cat. It's difficult. It is important to have the boundary. It is important, that's why we have to have a code of practice, how we practice every day, developing national referral mechanism for Asia. I can give you the international that you can use later on. I will send the link to the organizer. But understanding we have a trauma, they have a trauma. Self-care. So we have to practice self-care, understanding that we have trauma. You have trauma. If we don't have self-awareness of our own trauma, we will talk to them like, no, cannot, yes. It's effect how we deal with them. We have to have self-awareness where we know I have to step back, step forward. This is your responsibility. Don't make another trouble. Don't make another trauma to add to them, because it's enough. It's enough. Let's take care of the trauma. Let's take care of my trauma. If I am having a mental breakdown, I reschedule my appointment. I ask someone to replace me. Try to do that. Try to do replacement or reschedule unless cannot anymore or no choice. Because why? When you are having a trouble with yourself, oh, my cat, nobody, feed my cat, and my husband didn't come home, my wife is somewhere else, so it's affect you. So be in present. Like me, if I'm not here outside, I will think about my mom who is sick. But when you are here, just be grounded. Try to put yourself in the ground like this and think, I'm here, a new day, a new time, and a new client. I call them client. I don't call them survivor. I don't call them victim. Because of they receive services from you. They are my client. And if I can share with you a little bit, if you are having a troublesome dealing, try to sit still. Make sure if you are big and tall, you lay straight and hold this tightly. Hold the chair tightly, just to remind you that you are in present to help other people. You are not somewhere else, because this, the strength, it's help you to think, make you grounded. If you are short like me, you can sit at the edge and do the same thing. As long as your feet on the ground, this is your anchor. This is your anchor to remind you that you are a person that will help someone else. Thank you.
Thank you, Shandra.
Finish?
I think so. Unfortunately, we are going to move to our next session. Thank you
Okay,
so
thank
much.
you everyone, and I'm here for you. And if you have questions, please don't feel, no, just come freely to me. I will be here until the end of the conference. Thank you so much.